Ever found yourself completely baffled by your partner? Like you're speaking two different languages? You say one thing, they hear another, and suddenly a simple conversation turns into a major misunderstanding. Well, you're not alone. Today, we're rediving into a fascinating book that sheds light on these very mysteries. Why Men Do'n't Listen and Women Can't Read Maps by Alan and Barbara Pease. Now, before we get started, let's be clear. This isn't about saying one gender is better than the other. It's about understanding our differences, which, according to the authors, are deeply rooted in our biology and evolutionary history. The Peases argue that for millions of years, men and women had very different roles that shaped the way our brains are wired. Think about it. Prehistoric man was the hunter. His job was to focus on a single target, track it over long distances, and bring it home. This required incredible spatial skills, a laser-like focus, and the ability to tune out all distractions. His brain evolved to be a specialist, excellent at solving one problem at a time. This is why the book suggests a man watching sports can seem completely deaf to anything else going on around him. He's not ignoring you on purpose. His brain is in hunter mode, locked onto a single target. On the other hand, prehistoric woman was the nest defender and gatherer. Her role was to manage the home, care for children, and gather food nearby. This required a completely different set of skills. She needed to be aware of everything at once. The baby crying, the fire needing fuel, potential dangers lurking, and which plants were safe to eat. Her brain evolved to be a multitasking marvel, processing multiple streams of information simultaneously. This is why women can often juggle a phone call, cook dinner, and keep an eye on the kids all at the same time. So, how does this translate to modern-day communication? Let's talk about listening. The book explains that because of their single-focus brains, men tend to listen in silence. They're absorbing the information, processing it, and formulating a solution. When a woman talks about a problem, a man's immediate instinct is to jump in and offer a fix. He sees a problem and his hunter brain wants to solve it. He's trying to help. But for women, talking about a problem is often about connection and processing emotions, not just finding a solution. A woman's multi-tracking brain thrives on communication to build relationships. When she's talking, she often uses what the authors call supportive noises. Things like, I see. These aren't interruptions. They're signals that she's listening, engaged, and empathetic. When a man listens in silence, a woman might feel like he's not paying attention or doesn't care, when in reality, he's concentrating intensely. This fundamental difference leads to the classic "he just doesn't listen" complaint. She wants empathy and a listening ear. He gives her a 5-point plan to solve the issue. He thinks he's being helpful, while she feels unheard. The key, the authors suggest, is for men to understand that sometimes, just listening is the solution. And for women to understand that when a man offers a solution, it's his way of showing he cares. Now let's tackle that controversial title. What about maps? The book links this back to those hunter-gatherer roles. The male hunter needed superior spatial skills to navigate vast, unfamiliar territories and find his way back home. This developed a part of the brain responsible for spatial awareness, distance judgment, and a sense of direction. This is why, statistically, men tend to excel at tasks like map reading, parking a car in a tight spot, or mentally rotating objects in space. The female gatherer, however, operated in a more familiar territory. Her spatial skills were about remembering landmarks. Turn left at the big rock, go past the berry bush, and the cave is just beyond the crooked tree. Her brain became adept at recognizing and recalling a sequence of landmarks. So, while a man might navigate using cardinal directions and distances, a woman is more likely to give directions using visual cues and landmarks. Neither way is wrong. They're just different brain strategies. When a woman is navigating and says, "It's just down there, past the cute little coffee shop," the man might get frustrated because he's looking for a street name or a specific distance. He's trying to use his internal compass, while she's using her internal landmark library. It's a classic case of two different operating systems trying to run the same program. Another huge area the book covers is how men and women handle stress. When a man is stressed, his evolutionary programming tells him to retreat and solve the problem alone. He goes to his cave, which today might be the garage, the TV room, or just silence. He needs to process the problem without distractions. If a woman follows him into the cave to talk about it, it can actually increase his stress levels because it disrupts his single-focus problem-solving process. Conversely, when a woman is stressed, her instinct is to talk it out. Remember that multi-tracking, communication-focused brain? Talking about her problems helps her process her feelings, gather support, and explore the issue from different angles. It builds connection and relieves stress. So when she's upset and her male partner retreats into his cave, she can feel abandoned and isolated. He thinks he's giving her space, but she perceives it as him not caring. Understanding these core differences is like getting a user manual for the opposite sex. It's not about making excuses for bad behavior, but about building empathy and finding better ways to communicate. The book offers practical advice. If you're a woman talking to a man about a problem, you can start by saying, "I just need to vent for a minute. I'm not looking for a solution right now." This gives his brain a clear instruction. Listen, don't solve. And for men, if your female partner is stressed, resist the urge to immediately offer solutions or retreat. Try asking, "Do you want to talk about it?" And then just listen. Use some of those supportive noises. Show her you're engaged. It can make a world of difference. The Pieces argue that by appreciating our ancient biological wiring, we can stop trying to change our partners into versions of ourselves and start appreciating them for who they are. We can learn to speak each other's language, navigate our differences with humor and understanding, and build stronger, happier relationships. It's about bridging the gap, not erasing it. So the next time your partner's behavior seems completely alien, take a step back and think about the hunter and the gatherer. It might just give you the insight you need to turn a moment of frustration into a moment of connection. This book is a real eye-opener, packed with humor, research, and relatable examples that will have you nodding along and saying, "Aha." So that's why they do that. It provides a fascinating framework for understanding the age-old battle of the sexes. Thank you so much for joining me on this little journey through our evolutionary past. If you found this interesting and want to learn more about improving your relationships and understanding yourself, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, stay curious.